Hello, creative gems. Welcome to Creativity. Today we're jumping right into making our lamps. I have here 4 packs of silver ornament balls left over from the holidays. I got these from the Dollar Tree and I'm amazed that you can get 15 per pack. These ornament balls are going to be key to making our first lantern, which is going to be a whopping 2 feet tall. To begin, we'll need to remove the caps from each ball. They actually twist off very easily, and we'll need to do that for a total of 52 ornament balls. Once the caps are all removed, the next step is to use a pair of scissors to snip off the ends where the cap used to be. You want to use a pair of scissors sharp enough to actually snip the tips off, and my recommendation is that you use safety glasses to protect your eyes in case any of the small pieces fly off in the wrong direction. And when you have snipped the pieces off, double check to ensure that the area is flat. If there are any little pieces still sticking out, use your scissors to clean any extra pieces off. The idea is to make that area flat enough so that you can join 2 balls together without them being lopsided. The key to making this lantern stand up straight is we'll need to ensure that the balls are glued together straight. To help us with that, I am going to use this empty cardboard paper towel roll. Turns out the ornament balls fit very snug inside the roll, and so it will be perfect to help ensure that when we glue the balls together, that they will stand straight. I'll show you what I mean. See how these 2 balls are glued together? They're perfectly straight at 180 degrees. So we're going to stack another ornament ball on top and repeat the gluing process using the empty paper towel cardboard roll to insert the balls inside while we wait for the hot glue to cool and dry. We'll want to continue repeating that until we have 13 ornament balls glued together. And while we work on that, I would like to take a moment to thank you for tuning in to today's craft project. If you enjoy glam home decor and DIY crafts on a budget, it would help me greatly if you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my glam home decor DIYs. And if you like what you see today, please give me a thumbs up as well. Your support will really help me continue providing you with more amazing and creative craft tutorials. And the best part is, subscribing and giving me a thumbs up is absolutely free but will make a world of difference to me. You'll notice that every once in a while I'm checking the ornament balls as the glue dries to make sure everything is still straight. And here we have 13 ornament balls glued together perfectly straight. But you may have noticed that you can see some of the hot glue between the ornament balls. That isn't going to look very pretty for our lantern, so we're going to cover those up with a string of silver beaded necklace. These beads also have a chrome reflective finish, just like the ornament balls, so they'll be perfect to hide any glue that may have oozed out, and they will look very pretty. I'll fast forward this part and I'll come back when we have 4 sets completed. So here are the 4 sets of legs we will use to form the 4 sides of our lantern. See how straight each one is? I'm actually amazed at how nicely they turned out thanks to the empty paper towel cardboard roll. If you're still with me, comment down below with the word lantern so I know you visited. Alright, so now that these are done, we'll need to put them aside for the meantime while we work on the base and top of our lantern. I found these wood pieces at the Dollar Tree, and I have to say, Dollar Tree has really stepped up their game recently with all the wood materials they have in their crafting aisle. These wood pieces I selected are actually pretty thick and they have about a ½ inch lip around each side, so it will be perfect for our lantern. They did come with this piece of rope in case you want to hang the piece, but we won't need it for the lantern, so I'll be removing that. For the base, the first thing we'll want to do is to mark off where each set of ornament ball legs will be positioned. I'm using a pencil just to mark it off. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you'll want to mark it off because we will be painting the rest of the wood surface. And you're probably wondering why I wouldn't just paint the whole wood surface area. The reason for that is I want the ornament ball to be adhered directly to the wood rather than the paint on the wood. It's a small detail, but placing the ornament balls to the paint will likely not adhere as well as adhering directly to the wood. And you'll notice that as I'm making my markings, I'm using a level to help make sure that the markings I make are based on the ornament balls being positioned onto the wood piece at exactly 180 degrees. Again, small details, but I'm determined to make this lantern as perfectly straight and beautiful as possible. Now, with the markings done for each corner, we're ready to paint the wood surface. I'm going to start out with a small paintbrush to help me outline the area that I want to be painted. And we're painting it white, but if you don't have white paint, black or metallic silver would work as well. With the inside painted, we're going to turn our attention to the sides. Since this entire lantern is going to have a chrome reflective finish, we're going to apply a few rows of this mini mirror tiles instead of painting the sides. These mini mirror tiles are self-adhesive and can be cut to size, so they're very easy to work with. We'll want to apply the mini mirror tiles to the sides of both pieces of wood so that the base of the lantern matches the top of the lantern as well. Now, with the mini mirror tiles applied to the sides and the paint dried on the inside of the base, we're going to turn the base upside down so we can build some legs for the lantern. I have these silver napkin rings from the Dollar Tree. They come in a 6 pack and they will work nicely as legs for the lantern. Now we can leave the napkin rings the way they are with the silver finishing and they will look very pretty with the silver reflective finish, but I'm going to go the extra mile and apply this beautiful silver rhinestone ribbon to it for that extra glitter and bling. This ribbon is self-adhesive so no extra glue will be required and the ribbon can be cut to size, and since the ribbon is flexible, it will mold to the round shape of the napkin rings. In case you want to purchase this ribbon for your crafts, I'll leave a link to my Amazon store in the description box. With the napkin rings adorned with the rhinestone ribbon, we will now adhere each to the bottom of the wood base with a bit of hot glue. And here's what the base looks like so far. I think it's coming together with the mirror tiles on the sides and the pretty legs on the bottom. If you're still with me, drop me a note with the word lantern so I know you visited. Now, we still need to figure out what to do with the top edges for each side. I have selected these clear acrylic gems and I think they'll look perfect for our lantern. To adhere them onto the wood, we're actually going to skip the hot glue this time and we're going to go for some tacky glue instead. I want to make sure each gem sits flat against the wood, and with the hot glue, it tends to leave some clumps when the glue dries, so that won't look good. With the tacky glue, it will take a bit longer to dry, but it will do a great job adhering the gems to the wood without getting clumpy. And I'm using my nifty gem picker tool to help me get the job done quicker. And for those of you interested, the gem picker tool is also available in my Amazon store using the link in the description box. I actually think this gem picker tool is similar to the ones they use for manicures when you want to place little gems and stones onto your nails. There's a pointy end to help you move and position the gems, and then there's a sticky end that helps you pick up the gems. With one side completed, it will take a bit of time for the tacky glue to fully cure. In the meantime, I'll fast forward through the other three sides. Now, with the gems on the wood, I decided I didn't like the white paint on the wood, so we're going to go ahead and cover as much of the white paint as possible. I have these 4 by 4 inch mirrors, but we'll need to measure them out to see how many will fit onto the wood surface. These mirrors are also in my Amazon store, and I got a 50 pack for less than 50 cents a piece. You may have seen me use these mirror tiles for several of my other home decor crafts because they're so versatile. So, as it turns out, I decided to place one of the mirrors inside the center, and for the rest of the exposed area where you can still see the paint, I'm going to fill the space with the mini mirror tiles. The 4 by 4 inch mirror is where I'll eventually place a candle on. For now, I have cut the strips of mini mirror tiles to size and placed them into the wood surface with the wax backing still on just to make sure they fit properly. What I want to do is to adhere the ornament ball sets that we made earlier into each corner first. By waiting to adhere the mirrors to the wood surface, I'll be able to adjust and reposition them as I glue the ornament balls into the corners. This will also ensure that the ornament balls are adhere only to the wood surface and not to the mirror tiles. You may recall earlier that I mentioned that the ornament balls would adhere more securely when adhered directly to the wood, so that's the plan we will go with. Now, to adhere the sets of ornament balls, you'll want to use some Fix-All for a longer lasting secure hold. But you'll also want to add some hot glue so we don't have to wait for the Fix-All to set while we finish making the lantern. And once again, you'll notice that I also have my handy dandy level to make sure that the sets of ornament balls stand at exactly 180 degrees. Here I'm adding some extra hot glue into the gaps for each corner. This will help secure the ornament balls at the base. And here's what our lantern base looks like with a set of ornament balls standing upright at each of the corners. I think the gems look so pretty against the chrome finish of the balls as well as the mirror tiles. One small detail is that we still have exposed wood along the inner sides of the wood base, so I'm going to use the same self-adhesive silver rhinestone ribbon we used earlier to embellish the neck and ring legs. And now it's time for us to secure the 4 by 4 inch mirror tile to the inside center of the wooden base. I'm using some Fix-All and then I'll lay it down flat against the wood base, right in the center. And with that in place, we can start removing the wax backing from the mini mirror tiles as well, and then place those down onto the wood surface. Now for the top cover of our lantern, typically lanterns have a round handle at the top, but who says we need to follow traditional rules, right? Since I don't have any suitable round handles, we're going to attach a 5-inch long cabinet handle to the top. You can see here I have already marked off each end of the handle so the handle is perfectly centered. Then, surrounding the handle, we will place four 4 by 4 inches mirror tiles with the rest of the exposed wood surface to be covered by mini mirror tiles. And for the edges on either side, I couldn't find any mirror tiles that would fit perfectly to cover the entire wood surface, so we're going to have to take care of that later. For now, we can go ahead and glue down each of the 4-inch mirror tiles using some Fix-All. Once again, I want the mirror tiles to lie perfectly flat on the top of the wood, so we're going to avoid using hot glue since hot glue tends to dry a bit clumpy when applied to flat surfaces. While we wait for the Fix-All to cure, I have temporarily removed the silver handle so we can start laying down the mini mirror tiles as well. Every so often, I'll put the handle back into position just to make sure it still fits and that nothing has shifted while adhering the mini mirror tiles to the wood top. And with all the mini mirror tiles adhered to the top of the wood, I'm going to go ahead and glue down the handle now. I used Fix-All for this, but for those of you who prefer not to use glue, you also have the option to screw in the handle as well. But you can see here, after waiting overnight for the Fix-All to fully cure, the handle actually secured very well. So this is what the top of our lantern lid looks like now. Isn't it just so pretty already? But we still need to cover the tiny little bit of exposed wood on the sides. For that, I have chosen to use the same self-adhesive silver rhinestone ribbon as before. I love using this ribbon as embellishment for my home decor crafts because the ribbon is very flexible and can be cut to size, and of course, it is self-adhesive. And while we work on embellishing the rest of the lantern top, I would be really interested to know where everyone is from. I know most of you are from the US, so feel free to drop me a note and share with us which state you are watching this video from. And for those of you watching from outside America, let me know which country you are from. I think some of you may be from Mexico, South America, Canada, the UK, and even Greece, which is great. One day, I hope to be able to travel the world and visit all these places. Look how pretty our lantern lid is now. You can leave the silver handle as is, or you can go the extra mile like me and bling it out as well. I'm going to bling mine out with some more silver rhinestone ribbon. Isn't that just gorgeous? The entire lid is mirrored and sparkling. And now we are ready to place the lid onto the top of our lantern. Make sure you apply some hot glue so that the lid doesn't move around. And here's the final look for our 2 foot tall chrome lantern. Have you guys seen anything like this? This is a one of a kind lantern and I think it looks so pretty. Too bad I don't have any tall candles yet. But now I have a reason to go out and buy one to place into this lantern. I love how the entire lantern has a mirror-like finish and everything sparkles all the way from the top of the lantern down to the feet we made for the base. Comment down below with the word lantern and let me know where you would place this lantern. Currently, I have it sitting in my TV room alongside a few of my other lanterns, but I'm open to your suggestions. And speaking of other lanterns, I have another tall chrome lantern I made a couple of years ago. This beautiful lantern also has a mirrored-like finish, but we're not going to be using actual mirrors to give the sides a mirror-like finish. To see how I do that, let's get started. We're going to make a tall mirrored lantern using a couple of these 6 by 6 inch square wood panels. And we'll also be needing one of these smaller wood panels that measure 4.5 by 4.5 inches. And we'll also need 4 of these 12-inch wood dowels. All the wood pieces we'll be using some silver metallic craft paper. This sheet will need to be cut to size according to the size of the wood panel. We'll need to cut pieces to cover each side of our wood panel, starting with the base of our lantern. To ensure a perfectly straight edge for the craft paper, we will use this paper cutter gadget. If you don't have one of these, you could use a box cutter and a ruler instead. And if you don't have that, you can simply use a pair of scissors. I opted not to use scissors though because I really wanted to have perfectly straight edges and it's not easy for me to achieve that with scissors. Once each piece is cut to size, it's time to adhere them onto the wood panel with some glue. Here I have chosen to use clear tacky glue. I like to use this type of glue because it doesn't dry as fast as hot glue and doesn't clump up like hot glue. You would have enough time to reposition or make adjustments to the craft paper before the tacky glue starts to dry and set. If you don't have any tacky glue, you could also opt for some white glue, but the white glue will take a little longer to set. Side of the wood panel, we're going to paint it with some silver metallic acrylic paint. I've added some silver glitter to my paint for extra shimmer. Next, we're going to take each one of our wooden dowels and cover each with some silver contact paper. This contact paper has a mirror-like finish, so from afar they will look like they have a chrome finish. Then we're going to adhere each wooden dowel to the inside of the wooden panel, one against each corner. Here I'm going to use a combination of Fix-All for a long-lasting hold as well as a bit of hot glue for near instant hold. The Fix-All will be applied to the bottom of each wooden dowel and the hot glue will be applied to the corners of the wood panel where the wooden dowel will make contact. The most important thing is to make sure when you place the wooden dowels inside the wood panel, they are positioned vertically so they stand straight up. Then we're going to take one of these square mirror tiles and apply some Fix-All to the back before we place it down inside the wood panel. These mirror tiles measure 4 by 4 inches and are slightly smaller than the wood panel themselves. Dollar Tree has similar mirror tiles, but I found these on Amazon for less than $1 a piece. I'll leave a link below in the description box to my Amazon store where you may find them. Then, after placing the mirror inside, I decided to go back in and frame the mirror with a string of silver beaded necklace. Next, we're going to work on building a top lid for our lantern using the two remaining wood panels we have. One is smaller than the other, so we're going to place the smaller one on top of the larger one. Make sure when you adhere the two wood panel pieces together that the smaller one is positioned in the center of the larger one. Then we're going to go back in and cover the entire lid with the same mirrored craft paper that we used on the base. For this part of the craft project, we'll need to do some more measuring, so make sure you have a measuring tape or ruler on hand. And remember what they say, measure twice, cut once. Here is what the wood panel top looks like so far. We still need to cover the rest of the sides with the silver contact paper. For the very top of the smaller wood panel, I'm going to place this 5 by 5" mirror tile to it. But as you can see, it's slightly smaller than the wood panel, so you can still see the natural wood coloring of the wood panel all around the edge. So we're going to fix that by taking this white metallic marker and applying a thin border all around the top of the small wood panel where it will be exposed. And with that done, we're going to go back to the mirror tile and turn it over so we can use the blade from our box cutter to remove the four little felt pads. This is so the mirror tile will lie perfectly flat onto the wood panel without any gaps. Now the mirror tile can be placed onto the wood panel with some fix-all. And then we're going to go back in and frame the wood panels with a string of silver beaded necklace. This will also help camouflage any exposed wood panel due to the mirror tile being slightly smaller than the top wood panel. As you can see here, I decided to continue applying the silver beaded necklace around the larger edge of the larger wood panel as well. I think this just completes the look of the lantern lid to give it an upscaled glam look. And to finish off the top of the lid, we'll place a crystal doorknob to the center of the mirror tile. Before we place the lid on top of our lantern, I'm going in with a dry paintbrush to remove the pesky glue strings. And finally, our mirrored lantern is complete with the lid placed on top. It's incredible how exquisite this mirrored lantern looks. I will place a tall pillar candle inside, and there's still going to be more room for an even taller pillar candle. With the base and the top lid, this lantern stands almost a foot and a half tall. Let me know what you think of the lanterns we made today. In fact, I would be curious to know which lantern from today's craft tutorials you liked best. Comment down below with the word lantern and let me know which lantern is your favorite. And if you enjoyed today's craft tutorial, please make sure you subscribe to my channel and give a thumbs up. And in the meantime, stick around and check out my other beautiful DIY home decor pieces.